minutes, we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to ask you to be on my training course for the next 10 minutes, and I'm going to ask you, what tips did I use and why did they work and how could I use it? Because I know that there's, at least 250 years experience in the room. You already know what good looks like, don't you? I bet if I asked you to think about the best trainer or the best presenter and what made them so good, you've already got that picture in your mind. It's a case of copying it. This is not rocket science. Einstein said, if you can't explain things simply enough, you don't understand it well enough. If you have a clinician who just doesn't get it, it comes down to the language that you're using. Every little bit of research comes down to the language and the way that we communicate it. The clinicians are really well-educated people. If it's taught well, they understand it. And we need to get them to understand it to make decisions differently, don't we? Now, when you think of the information that you are giving to your clinicians, less is more. Do not start at the top of an income and expenditure statement. Start at the bottom with the big message and work back why. Make it simple, make it short. What else happens with NHS 123 BUT? What else did I do?
It's familiar.
It's familiar. Find a way around the acronyms. Otherwise, you're in the first scenario, yeah? So this shows the power of language that can accelerate. What else happened with NHS 123 BUT? It's in blocks. You chunk it. My mum is a gardener, and she always said, you plant your plants in threes. NHS 123 BUT. You chunk the message. And even if you've gone on an Educator day trying to get everything, simplify it into some big 3 messages. Now remember, I'm running my training course now, and I'm going to be asking some of you, what am I doing as a technique and why does it work? Why does it work? So as a finance educator, we're going out, we have to talk to the clinicians, but also we need to go back and talk to our finance teams to help them. And we already know that less is more. Now on the table, can everybody find their bells? Can everybody ring them just to make sure you've got one? Okay. Now how do you get from being okay at something to being brilliant? Practice. They do say practice makes perfect. I was at my speed awareness course last week. And do you know what? First time I got in a car, I was petrified and I was rubbish. After 28 years of driving, I've got so good that I don't even realise what I'm doing when I'm driving. It's almost as though the subconscious is driving. Now this gave me something to think about. Practice makes perfect. The one tip I'm going to share with you is after today, what's the day that you're going to start practicing and who with? Because it's going to take a lot of courage to stand up and make that effort and maybe do something like this yourself, you know, but practice makes perfect. The other thing that struck me on my speed awareness course is that it's 28 years since I read the highway code. Now your clinicians will know about finance, but maybe it's 28 years since they've done it, and we just need to bring finance back into their consciousness. So every time they're making a decision, they're thinking, what's the impact on the patient, what value is it adding, and how much is it costing? Because you know when something is perceived to be free, do you use it in the same way when you know how much it costs? Maybe not. Now, how are we doing for time?
56.
We've got 3 minutes left. Right, so you know what, I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to come back to you, the audience, because we've got 3 minutes. The main thing I want to do in my training session is to make sure that you've thought about what are some of the techniques that I can use and practice. So what have I done in the last 10 or 15 minutes, which is part of a training technique? How? How did I? Right. Engagement is about getting your audience to do something. Listen to this. Is it okay if you can just put your mobile phones out of sight? It's phrased as a question. Is it okay? Is it okay if you stand up? How do you go and talk to your clinicians? You have to embed lots of questions in your delivery, because every time you ask a question, your audience has to think of the answer just in case you ask them. And the other thing I'd say with the questions, see the name tags? I can't see them. On your training course, you remember Dame Edna Everidge used to slap a great big name tag just here. I'd really encourage you to do that if you don't know the people in the room. Because to ask people by name, Richard, make sure that you're in the zone, yeah? You can't wander off. Okay, great. So I've asked lots of questions. What else have I done? Back table. I always come to lots of eye contact. Camera. Absolutely. So it's all about rapport. By the way, the standing up is a rapport builder because everybody is in the same boat together. That's the feeling that we want on training. I'm here to learn from you, and you're here to learn from me. I'm not the expert, I'm just practicing too. Okay, that's the general feeling. What else? We've got time for probably two more techniques. Sorry, lady here? All right, it's how you deliver it. You're absolutely right. What was the word that Sanjay used when he referred to language, the previous presentation? It was right, okay. Demystify. And the language is really important, as with Seema, this week, Head of Public Sector Research into Finance. Her research says that the key block is language. We have to demystify it. Okay, and one other, and then I'm finished, Pam. You can tell me I'm on time. One other I've done.
Clearly set out the framework of what we're going to
Okay, the contracting. The biggest thing I'd like to encourage you to have the confidence to do is that the mobile phones are the biggest distractor you can have in a training room. And if you give people the opportunity at break to look at it and ask them politely, otherwise it becomes an epidemic. By the time you get to the end of the training, everybody is on their mobile phones. They are not listening. They're not in the zone.